Closing arguments started today in R.Kelly's trial. The prosecution went first, and Miss Geddes, who is one of the prosecutors, she spoke for 3.5 hours, and she still has not finished her closing statement, so she will continue in the morning. And whenever she is finished, Mr. Canick will do the defense closing statements. And I said from the beginning that Canick should do the statements at the end of the trial and just wrap everything up for the jury in a nice little bow. Pray for R.Kelly. We all need to be praying. It's been over 2 years of me, just fighting for him on social media when this whole thing first started with Surviving R.Kelly. But before that, I've always defended R.Kelly. If you think back, this whole thing started in 2017 with the BuzzFeed article, when they came out here and said R.Kelly got little girls chained up in the basement. Jim Duragatis and those sluts at BuzzFeed came out with that nasty stink article. And full of lies. And that's what got this whole thing started about R.Kelly and sex cult. And, and it led us to this point where R.Kelly is on trial and the feds are saying that he is a criminal enterprise. And today, Judge Donnelly changed the instructions, and she's basically going to tell the jury that R.Kelly is the enterprise, and R.Kelly is the leader of the enterprise, and that's why he's the only one on trial, and basically trying to find a loophole to try to, get a conviction for the prosecution. Because if you say R.Kelly is the enterprise and he's the leader of the enterprise, they're hoping that the jury won't have any wiggle room to find him not guilty. But the problem with that is, in their opening statements, the prosecutors already said R.Kelly was in charge of the enterprise and had everybody else doing his dirty work. So which is it? Which is it? Is he the enterprise or is he the leader of the enterprise? The prosecution has not proven their case. That's why they had to do such dirty tactics. And they didn't even call all of that Jane Doe's. They didn't call Juice. They didn't call Lizette. We know they weren't going to call Lizette, because Lizette would have got torn apart on the stand. So they didn't even call all the Jane Doe's that she allowed in. She allowed all of them chicks in. And they didn't even call all of them because the chicks were so crazy and they're such liars that they didn't want to hurt their case even more. The defense did not call Joycelyn as a witness. We only had 5 witnesses on our side. And I think that was great. The less the better. R.Kelly basically just had people who worked for him come up there and say they saw nobody, kidnapped, tied up. His accountant came up there and testified, about where the money was going, and, that he never saw R.Kelly mistreat anybody, and he was able to speak to the girlfriends, and the girlfriends spoke to him, and he never saw anything unusual. Julius Darrington, the A&R person that worked with R.Kelly before for a couple of years now, he testified on his behalf, so that was really nice. And we had a few people testify, which was great. I mean, the burden of proof is on the prosecution. And like I've heard many attorneys say, R.Kelly doesn't have to prove a thing. The attorneys for R.Kelly have been defending him the entire time when they have been cross-examining and poking holes in the stories of these accusers. Nobody was kidnapped, you know. And I think Mr. Canick, when he gets the closing arguments, when it's his turn, he's going to reiterate that R. Kelly gave these girls $5,000 a month. He paid for all their Ubers. They were able to go and come in an Uber. So if at any time, if they were harmed or if they felt trapped, you know, they could have left in an Uber. They all had cell phones, which was, remember when Tim Savage and Angelo Clary came out here and said nobody had a cell phone, and they painted this picture like R. Kelly was a real monster, like nobody had a cell phone and the people couldn't talk. Well, that was disproven, you know, because Azriel had several phones, and she, of course, was communicating with her family the entire time. I just want Mr. Canick to tie everything together in his closing statements and talk about the inconsistencies and really hit home that R. Kelly is not an enterprise, and actually call the prosecution out. You know, I mean, if R. Kelly is an enterprise, why is he the only one on trial? You know, that needs to be hammered home. God bless the defense team. We'll see what happens, you know, but I'm praying for a not guilty verdict. He deserves to be acquitted. I believe he will be acquitted. The media everybody in the media is saying, oh, he's going to get convicted on all counts. R. Kelly is going to spend the rest of his life behind bars. That's what the media is saying. But, you know, you really can't count on the media, you know, because they have said, oh, everything is going bad for him. And this entire time, everything, they have lied this entire time. You know, they're not telling the public the truth. You know, this case is not open and shut. It never was. It never was. The accusers were extremely flawed. The first witness that they called was Joronda Pace, and Joronda Pace is a stalker, and she's a liar. And, you know, she broke into R. Kelly's house while he wasn't there. And, you know, she was all types of shady. So I think the jury is not going to like her. You know, and the jury is also not going to like Jane Doe number 5. And remember, the jury already saw the portion of precedence where Azriel was talking to her father. And where Azriel was saying, nah, you knew I wasn't kidnapped. Don't paint no picture. Like, you know, I haven't been calling y'all and none of that. Remember when she said that? That was played to the jury. So, all of that is going to be in the jurors' minds. And Mr. Canick needs to remind them of that. You know, the prosecution brought in a lot of extra people, I think, to really confuse the jury, to make them forget what they're really here for. You know, what they're here for is to see the facts about the individuals that he's charged with and the RICO case. You know, they weren't here for the John Does, and people keep saying, oh, the John Does, the John Does. He's not charged with those 2 lying niggas. And that's what people don't get. Most of the shit they brought into this trial, he was not charged with. He's charged with racketeering and violations of the Mann Act. But again, how can he violate the Mann Act when he thought the young ladies were 18? You know, Jane Doe number 5 is, you know, where he has the most counts against him for the Mann Act, which is Azriel. You know, and Azriel admitted that she lied to R. Kelly for months about her age. So when they had sex in California, he was under the impression that she was 18 years old. So that's what I would argue if I was Mr. Canick. That's what I would argue in my closing statements. But he's a lawyer. You know, he'll figure it out. He's a damn good lawyer. And I think that we will prevail, you guys. We should prevail. If the jury is fair, they're sending R. Kelly home. If the jury is fair, they're sending R. Kelly home because he's not an enterprise. I just hope it's nobody on that jury. It was that one woman that was, who they say was a juror that was like, she don't believe that women lie about sexual assault, and they still kept her in there. I just hope she's not a problem. You know, because she might feel like she had to convict him on something, you know. But somebody who I feel is going to fight for R. Kelly is that woman, that black woman that they say have family members. She got a lot of family members incarcerated. I think she's going to have some sympathy. And I also think the guy who is friends with Bill Cosby's family is going to lean more towards our side. The R. Crumb guy, the guy that likes to knit, and he has a boyfriend in Germany, I also think he would lean more towards R. Kelly's side. And the guy that said that he doesn't like the media and he hates the media, he might lean towards R. Kelly's side. So we got some people in there that, you know, are going to hold out, I believe. They're going to say, you know what, I don't think he's a criminal enterprise. I can't convict him. You know, we got to send him home. And that's what we can hope for. That's what we can hope for. We got some jurors in there I feel are going to be in there fighting and saying, no, he didn't violate this. You know, the girl lied about her age. He thought and the parents sent her back. And, you know, it's complicated. You know, this is not an open and shut case like I keep saying. How long do you think they'll be in deliberations when they get the case? I think they could possibly be in deliberations for about 2 days, 3 days. We might get a verdict next Wednesday. I could see us getting a verdict next Wednesday because they're probably going to want to go over everything and discuss Geronda, discuss Azriel. They're going to go back and forth between Azriel and Geronda. I'm telling you right now. That Geronda Pace, you know, is the one that they can't convict him on Geronda. It's no way they can convict him on the counts relating to Geronda. Because the girl is a fucking psycho, you know. It's all in the jury's hands now. Well, Canick's hands, because Canick's gonna, you know, do a great job. I'm glad Nicole is not doing the closing statements because I can't have any mistakes in the closing statements. Yeah, Canick's gonna deliver. It's gonna go to the jury, and then out of all the opinions in the world, the millions and millions of opinions, it will only come down to 12 opinions. Those 12 people are the ones who are going to decide to send R. Kelly home. Yeah. The media is waiting to celebrate a conviction. But they're wrong, you know. They're wrong. God, please protect R. Kelly, man. God bless the lawyers. God, please help the jurors to not send him away for life. R. Kelly deserves another opportunity out here because he's innocent. He didn't do this goofy shit. The moment that they talked about, well, the defense proved that the chicks were getting $5,000 a month. There goes your hostage argument, your kidnapping argument, holding you against your will. They stayed on their own free will. They stayed on their own free will. Because they were getting $5,000 a month. Ain't no other man was going to get them whole shit. And look how they did them. Ungrateful assholes. Ungrateful, dirty, demonic whores is what they are. Didn't have to work. The man handed them everything. And look how they did them. Want to destroy him. I'm never forgiving these people. I swear to God, I'm not. I'm not forgiving them for anything that they have done. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. I'm happy Joycelyn didn't take the stand. I'm so happy. I think they listened to my video when I said, you know, when Tim Savage came out here and said, oh, he didn't want Joycelyn to testify. And then he came back and said, well, let Joycelyn, you know, he wants Joycelyn to testify. I said, Why he flipped the script? And I think he flipped the script is because the prosecution told him to come out here and flip the script and say, yeah, Joycelyn should testify. And when I heard Tim say she should testify, I said, I don't want her to testify. Because I knew she would get caught up on the stand and it would make R.Kelly look bad. It would make R.Kelly look bad because her name was mentioned throughout the trial. And Joy was there, wasn't she? And Joy was there. And Joy was right there, wasn't she? And did you meet Joy? And was Joy on the... Yeah. They were going to trap her up on the stand. I'm glad she stayed out of it. R.Kelly told her, shut your mouth, be quiet, and lay low. And that's exactly what she has done. Joycelyn helped R.Kelly more by staying off that fucking stand. Yeah. And it's not on R.Kelly to prove his innocence. Like we keep saying. It's up to the prosecution to prove that R.Kelly is John Gotti and a mob boss and a kingpin, a kidnapper who gives his so-called victims $5,000 a month, $75,000 for their birthday, $10,000 for Christmas. What a kidnapper. What a bad guy. What a bad guy. I never seen... If that's being treated badly... If that's being treated badly... then I need to be treated badly like that. I need to be, you know, kidnapped and given $5,000 a month and $75,000 on my birthday. Shit. I'm sick of these folks. Sick of these folks. Sick of these folks. Sick of these folks. Keep praying, y'all. This is praying time. There's no more we could do. You know, I sent the attorneys so many emails. I know y'all did too. I sent them all the emails or anything I found online that could be helpful. You know. And they use some of our stuff too. They use some of that stuff. They damn sure use that precedence, and they use some of the tweets and that Azriel posted before she went public about, you know, her, you know, before she went public about going against R.Kelly and cooperating with the feds and being a federal informant against R.Kelly. Down to Canick and the jury. They didn't call Lizette. Javante Cunningham said she had a condom. Javante Cunningham had a condom when she met R.Kelly in 1991 at 15 years old. And he told her to hop up on it. And she asked him, you got a rubber? He said, no. And she said, I got one. And she whipped it out and she hopped up on it according to her. If I'm a juror and I'm listening to that statement, I'm saying, you little whore. You're not a victim. You were prepared at 15 with a condom at R. Kelly's house. But we all know he didn't fuck her. But I'm just saying, we're going based on what she's saying. I think some of the jurors might find it disrespectful that they spent so much time on a dead woman. Aaliyah is dead. She's not here to defend herself. She's not here to tell us yay or nay. And Kanik needs to reiterate that there's no proof that Aaliyah is pregnant and that he's not charged with Aaliyah, and Aaliyah's not here to defend herself. Right. So they need to consider anything about Aaliyah hearsay. I think he needs to say that in his closing statements. There might be somebody on the jury that, you know, really like Aaliyah, is a huge fan of Aaliyah, and they may feel like, oh, you know, he got Aaliyah pregnant based on the lies that Demetrius and these other people say, and they might feel a way towards R.Kelly because of that. So he needs to hammer that home too. He needs to hammer home, and he needs to play videos. The videos of Aaliyah praising R.Kelly, and the videos of her denying the marriage, and also reiterate that Aaliyah never pressed charges, her mama never pressed charges, her daddy never pressed charges, her brother never spoke out in the past 25 years, and Aaliyah needs to be left alone so she can rest in peace. He needs to reiterate that. But then again, he might not need to play videos of Aaliyah, because you don't want people too focused on Aaliyah. I changed my mind. He just needs to say that Aaliyah is not here to defend herself. And that needs to be it. In the courtroom sketches of R.Kelly, I like how they're drawing him now. I think they got a different artist, because that first sketch artist was terrible. But R.Kelly looks like R.Kelly in the courtroom sketches. You know, still handsome, head full of hair. A head full of hair. Nice beard. And he looks like R.Kelly. You know. God bless him, man. He's a strong man. He's strong. He's from Chicago, y'all. He's strong. Yeah, he's strong. He's built. He's built tough. This experience has taught him a lot, you know. And I think the support that he has seen outside the courthouse is really good for him mentally, you know. We all need support. You know, and you never know when you might go through a trial and tribulation and need somebody to support you. And I told you from day one, I'm in R. Kelly's corner, no matter what. Forever, forever, ever. Of course, forever. I love that man. He's a good man. He's a good man, an immaculate entertainer. My favorite artist of all time. And he doesn't deserve any of this shit. But God bless R. Kelly. God bless R. Kelly. Free R. Kelly. Free R. Kelly. Free R. Kelly. And fuck anybody who don't like him.